So, you think you know what meaning is. Most people think that they know, but when we study language closely, we find that meaning is not as simple as we thought. We begin to ask questions. What exactly is meaning? What are the various kinds of meaning? How does meaning come into existence? We'll look for answers to these questions by exploring three kinds of meaning. Denotative meaning, conceptual meaning, and evocative meaning. In the book of Genesis, one of Adam's first tasks was to give names to all cattle, to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. Today, we're still naming the things about us, but sometimes we have trouble. See that horse? Most people see it this way. But what a child is likely to remember seeing is this, a something with four legs. Consequently, when he sees this, another something with four legs, and calls it a horse, he's bewildered when his father says no. But when he sees this animal again, and his father says, there's a horse, things begin to fall into place. This something with four legs is different from this one. Here we have the problem of naming, of recognizing a thing for what it is and finding the name which most people will apply to it. Many words, like horse, name things. In the case of the word horse, the word stands for the actual animal. Or the word tree stands for actual objects like this. Thus, one kind of meaning which a word may have lies in the thing or things to which the word refers. This kind of meaning we call denotative meaning. The word building, for example, names this and this, or this. Automobile names this. And this, believe it or not. But all words, whether they name things or not, stand for ideas. Ideas which exist in our minds and which are not things to be observed and named. For instance, molecule stands for an abstract concept which people who understand the word can carry about in their head. This abstract idea, which we more or less logically attach to a word, constitutes a second kind of meaning, conceptual meaning. When we were trying to form a concept which would enable us to recognize a horse, to the idea of four-legged something, we have to add the idea of a flowing tail. Strong legs and solid hooves. A mane. A long cylindrical head. A glossy, short-haired coat. And the idea of size and strength. These ideas taken together, form a fairly accurate concept of what constitutes a horse. The idea will remain in the mind so that we can use the word horse and understand it. Whether we happen to be where an actual horse is or not. All words stand for ideas. These ideas are the kind of meaning we call conceptual meaning. When we formulate the conceptual meaning of a word to ourselves or to others, we make up the sort of thing we call a definition. Thus, the conceptual meaning of the word building could be expressed as a fixed structure with walls and roof. Or the conceptual meaning which we give to the word automobile could be embodied in these words. But besides being associated with ideas, words always produce additional responses in our minds. A third kind of meaning, evocative meaning, consisting of the sense images, the emotions, the attitudes which the word makes us feel. The word democracy can call to mind the speakers and crowds, the excitement, the beating of drums, the sounds of bands, the shows, the tension, the clamor. The word democracy may remind us of the serious responsibility of voting. It may recall the dignity of our government and of Lincoln's words about democracy. The evocative meaning of a word, then, may be very complex. To it belong all the pictures and other sense images which a word evokes in our imagination. The evocative meaning includes the feelings and emotions that a word awakens. To evocative meaning belongs our sense of the appearance and sound of the word itself.
Elephant,
We,
antediluvian,
Feedback.
flock,
never,
Yes.
saying,
Utica, hierarchy, texi, tipsy, topoloptica.
All these particular responses which a word can produce are quite distinct from the conceptual meaning, the abstract idea for which the word stands. We get this kind of meaning from experience rather than from reason, from living rather than from thinking. We have seen horses, we've heard the sounds of their hooves. Our experience has associated sound images and pictures with the word horse. Then, too, the feelings which we had when we were in the presence of a horse, perhaps of pleasures and excitement, perhaps of anxiety and distrust, are related to the word horse and may be recalled by it. But in addition to all this experience with horses, other events may be associated with the more particular experience with the horse in such a way as to add to the evocative connotation of the word. The sight of the field where we saw the animal, the light of the sky, the work going on about the farm. The look of the farm building, the other sounds of the place. All these may now be evoked by that simple syllable, horse. The evocative meaning of every word grows out of our experience. Experience which is always changing, adding to or canceling out the evocative responses which a word can produce. The evocative meanings of a word may be extremely complex, involving many images, some of them inconsistent. Sometimes we see water like this. But at other times, water wears a very different aspect. Both kinds of experience, that with the gentle brook and that with the mighty sea, become part of the evocative connotations of the word water. But despite these complications, or perhaps rather because of them, it is the evocative meaning of language, its ability to kindle our imagination, to make us see and hear, feel and judge, that makes words something more than mechanical symbols for abstract ideas or verbal arrows pointing at things. So, in our dealing with words, we must recognize three kinds of meaning. There is denotative meaning, the things which words name. There is conceptual meaning, the idea which the word brings to mind, the meaning which we can express by drawing up a definition. And there is evocative meaning, all the images, feelings, attitudes, and value judgments which a word awakens in our imagination. There are many further complexities to the problem of meaning, but here is at least a preliminary answer to the question, what is meaning?